Hi everybody, Honest John here. Well, yesterday it finally came to an end. The election is over. Biden won, Trump lost. That's the end of it. Although Trump continues to insist that the elections were stolen from him, that it was rigged. He's filing lawsuits with no basis. Because in truth, the only ones that tried to rig the election was Trump and the Republicans. Trump was the one who told his followers to vote twice. He told them to mail in a ballot and then go vote in person. Fortunately, election officials across the country came forward and let it be known that anybody who tried to do that could be charged with a felony. So that plan fizzled. And then there was the scheme that Trump and Louis DeJoy cooked up to slow down the post office so that ballots wouldn't be delivered. That was a blatant attempt to steal the election. And then there was the usual Republican voter suppression efforts that were thwarted by the people, who simply got in line and refused to leave. They waited for hours to exercise their fundamental right to vote. Think about this. In this time of a pandemic, Trump and the Republicans did everything they could to make it difficult, dangerous, and possibly even deadly to vote. Now, Trump encouraged his supporters to vote on November 3rd. What he was hoping is that he would have the early lead, and then somehow or other he would find a way to stop the counting of millions of legal ballots, mailed in or cast during the early voting period. And those were the only attempts to rig the election. All the Democrats did was insist that legal votes be counted. So all those attempts to rig the election failed because of the patience, persistence, and determination of the American people. So today we can celebrate. Yesterday we did. I guess we can do more celebrating today. But it's not enough just to get rid of Trump. And I'm saying this not out of spite. I'm saying this because it needs to be said. Trump must pay for everything he did in office. He must pay for his corruption, his crimes against people and humanity, his attempts to destroy our democracy and undermine our Constitution. There has to be a price to pay for this. And the reason why is because future presidents have to know that if they try to do what Trump did, that there will be a heavy price to pay. When Barack Obama was elected president, he chose not to go after the people who were responsible for the George W. Bush torture program. So only a few low-level operatives and some soldiers were the only ones prosecuted for it. I believe this was a mistake. The only way to guarantee that some president in the future won't revive that torture program would have been to prosecute the leaders responsible for it. This would have had to include high-ranking Bush administration officials, including the head of the CIA and the Department of Homeland Security, the Secretary of Defense, the Vice President, and President Bush himself. So I understand why Obama didn't want to do that, because it would have created a lot of division, a lot of people would have been angry and upset. But in the long run, it would have been the right thing to do. And prosecuting Trump and a lot of his cronies is also the right thing to do. We can't move on from the criminal operation that was the Trump administration just by saying, well, we're going to look forward, we're going to move into the future. The only way to restore the integrity of American government and the Justice Department, the courts, the legal processes, the only way to restore the integrity of those things is for those who try to subvert and sabotage them to pay. We are governed by the rule of law, and the rule of law should be leveled against Donald Trump. Everything that was done needs to be thoroughly investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Now, Trump is already facing state charges of money laundering, tax fraud, and bank fraud in New York. But that's not enough. All of his crimes must be brought to light. And Trump must spend the rest of his life in prison. Thanks for listening.